Hi Shmi, I'm guys. Well, actually, it's Hyperlemon here, but this video is very much going to be like a Shmi video where we just list the name of cars. This particular car show was held by Carhuna, who have just launched their auction platform, and they brought together a pretty epic collection of cars. Right there is a CLK DTM, next to that is a Porsche 996 GT2, and then a Ferrari 458 Speciale Aperta. Pretty rare car. Now we have a Ford GT and a 997 GT3 RS 4.0, legendary car. And next to that is an M3 CSL. These were pretty cheap at one point, but now they've got love. They're worth a lot of money and they sound amazing. Here we have a Ferrari F12 TDF in red with black stripes. I do like a TDF. And now we have a 458 Speciale, a Porsche 928 GTS, and a Rolls Royce in, I would say, a questionable spec, white with this very vibrant orange interior. I'm not really a Rolls Royce person, so maybe that's a good choice, but I don't particularly like it. Now we have a race car, an actual race car. I saw this racing a few weeks ago actually. Mercedes-AMG GT3 car. Doesn't use the 4-litre V8 turbocharged engine. It uses a 6.2 naturally aspirated motor, so it sounds pretty good as well. There we have an Aston Martin Vantage GT3, followed by a Porsche, I think it's a 935 flat nose, and now an original GT40. Next to that is an old Ferrari. I don't really know what it is. I don't know much about my old Ferraris, but because it's old, because it's a Ferrari, it's probably worth 20 million quid. Over to a legendary car, the Porsche Carrera GT. I think it's my favourite car of all time. Carbon tub, carbon subframe, naturally aspirated V10, manual gearbox. Just looks and sounds amazing. Now we have a Ferrari 599 GTO, sporting the GTO badge, which only 3 Ferraris have ever had. And there's some form of Aston Martin, Zagato I'm presuming, and a Ferrari F40. Red exterior, red interior. I think they all came in the same spec, which I think is kind of cool. Now this is a rare car. This is a Ferrari 599 GTZ Zagato convertible. Not many of them made. It's essentially a 599 which has been rebodied by Zagato. Now that is a very impressive car. A Zonda in deep blue. I think that's my favourite spec of Zonda I've seen. It looks absolutely amazing. And next to that we have a Bugatti Veyron in Poo colour. Not a fan of the Veyron, but yeah, it's a rapid car. Questionable spec choice, I think, as well. Let's pop over to the other side. Here we have a lovely Porsche 918 Spider. Got the Weissach wheels. I think it has a Weissach pack. Amazing car. And here is a Maserati MC20. I think these are depreciating quite a lot, so they'll be actually a very good buy soon. Apparently a very good car as well. And here's probably my favourite McLaren, the P1. Looks absolutely amazing. I think it's one of the best looking modern cars. And next to that is one of the best sounding cars, the Lexus LFA. Carbon chassis, which wasn't originally in the plan. And next to that is another one of the best sounding cars in the world, another Carrera GT. I think free revving, naturally aspirated V10 is the way forward. Now here we have a Peugeot 205, I think it's a T16. This was a homologation special for Group B, pretty legendary thing. And a McLaren Mercedes SLR. Looking behind us we have another Bugatti Veyron, this time a much better spec, red and black. Looks more like a traditional Veyron spec. I do prefer this. And there's that massive W16 8-litre quad turbo motor. 1001 brake horsepower, taking it to I think 253 miles an hour. Over here we have a Ferrari, LaFerrari Aperta. 349 of those made. Looks pretty epic. Now we have another Zonda. This time it's a Zonda S with those two wings at the back. Looks like it's had some modifications on the front clamshell there. And now over to a Koenigsegg CCX in bare carbon. That looks absolutely mega. Next to that we have a Ferrari F50 in yellow. So you could get the F50 in different colours other than red. Yellow was one of them. And apparently these are very good. Naturally aspirated, V12, manual gearbox. Now we have a Maserati MC12, which is basically a rebodied Enzo. Didn't receive much love at launch, but now apparently it's worth more and a better drive. And a McLaren F1 GTR race car. Made road legal. Now that must be worth a lot of money. Over to a Lamborghini Countach in an epic spec, white interior with blue exterior. That is just the best spec I've seen. Now over to a Mercedes CLK GTR Roadster. I think there was 5 of these made. When I was growing up, that was one of the cars that I always wanted, but they're very expensive, unfortunately. And here we have a Lamborghini Diablo GT. Again, legendary car. Look at that. What a beast. Just having a quick look over here again. That is a lineup and a half, isn't it? A Zonda, a poo-coloured Veyron, CLK GTR. Now we're popping upstairs. We start off with a very nice blue Porsche GT2 993. Now we go over to a 997.2 GT3. Over to a 992 GT3. Over to a 993 Carrera RS. With that lovely big wing with the air intakes on it. Now a not Porsche is a Lamborghini Murcielago. Just having a quick look at that Porsche again. And we go over to another Porsche, this time a 997 GT3 RS 4.0 in PTS colour. Apparently there's only like 35 of them in not black or white. Now here we have a Turbo S, I think it is. Flat nose, again, a very rare Porsche. And now we have a 991 Touring. Pretty epic. I hope it's a manual gearbox. I can't confirm that. But if it's a Touring, it has to be manual, doesn't it? Now we have a 964 Carrera RS. And look at that interior. Basically nothing in there apart from some racing seats and racing harness and a roll cage. Absolutely epic. Now we go over to a 991.2 GT3 RS with full Manti pack. Absolute Nürburgring monster. Look at the size of that wing. Massive. Wouldn't mind one of those. Can't afford one now. Now we have a Turbo S. And now we have a 997 GT3 RS. And these are pretty good value. I mean, 160k seems like a great car. And a Turbo S, this is probably worth really big money. Like you're talking 300 grand plus, I think there. Now you have a GT2 RS. Another 964, I think this is another RS, but different spec. Another Lamborghini Diablo. Look at those carbon windscreen wipers. Absolutely epic. Now we have a Porsche 356 Spider, based on a Volkswagen Beetle. But that is quite the assortment of Porsches, isn't it? I do like the spec of that GT2. And I really like the spec of this GT2. Very, very nice colour. Now a quick summary of what we saw. A lot of very, very impressive cars. Don't know how much money's in there. There must be well over 100 mil. My favourite though, probably the Carrera GT.